Welcome to the C-Level Strategy Series with Jon Arnold. This series delves deeply into the issues business owners and leaders face each day as they operate their businesses in a post-pandemic world.
How has the pandemic changed work programs and what's worked and what hasn't?
From our perspective, one of the workforce development programs that we offer, not necessarily something we do internally, but something that we offer to the larger community, were a series of classes on how additive manufacturing can be used in traditional manufacturing settings. So there was an additive 101 class and using 3D printing for sand to make the sand cores for the metal casting process, using it for tooling, and reverse engineering prototyping. Because of the onslaught of online classes, what used to be a program that companies were prepared to pay for, it's no longer part of the equation. We've seen such a shift in the marketplace that something that previously had, a couple $100 value, it wasn't college tuition, but there was certainly a value associated with it, just is now available in so many different formats that we've had to shift that in order to even make it affordable to offer it. And I think that if you look at the plethora of online information that's out there today, if people want to be educated in a certain space, they can at least take a good run at it. Now, that's always been true on the digital side. A kid wants to learn to code, they can teach themselves to code by watching YouTube. I think you're starting to see that in a lot of other industries. You still have to have the hands-on experience, but you can get a pretty good up close and personal to a lot of different things that just simply wasn't available before because people have been forced to put curriculum online that they wouldn't have otherwise offered that way.
Yeah. When I read this question, I think of you immediately in the chamber. How has the pandemic changed programs? What's worked and what has not worked?
Well, certainly on the public policy side, some of the federal decisions as a result of the pandemic is not helping the workforce issue. Paying people to not work is causing a strain on employers. You almost have a situation where employers are competing against the government to get a worker. We'd have been much better off paying people to go to work than paying them to not go to work. But that has a life to it. At some point that's going to end, and those people are going to be available for the workforce again. That can't happen soon enough for a lot of our employers. But public policy has a big impact on lots of what we do in the workforce space. And Barb is in part of a cutting edge industry, helping companies bring on new technologies, but incumbent workforce training is lacking in terms of public policy, and we need to work on that. We need to help existing employees upskill. Ohio's done a really good job in creating those programs, but nationwide those aren't strong enough. Public policy around transportation. This community has pockets, neighborhoods, whole neighborhoods that they're cut off from access to jobs, access to training, and so there's work that we need to do on the public policy side. In being a border community, it's very difficult to get public transportation to cross a state line and help get people to jobs and people to training. But we work on all those things, and we do see a good future for this community. Post-pandemic, a great opportunity that we're sitting on is relocating remote workers. This is an ideal place for lots and lots of people who now all of a sudden don't have to go to the office anymore, can work from anywhere in the country. So if you're in a major city and you don't want the congestion, you don't want to be close to people given the pandemic world, or you don't want to deal with the high taxes or high cost of living, if you're in California, you don't want to deal with the wildfires and the earthquakes. This is an ideal place to come locate. And even though they might not directly contribute to that workforce, they're going to probably bring a spouse. They're probably going to bring kids. And indirectly, that's a workforce solution for us.
Bob, you care to elaborate on that at all?
Well, it was a challenge, definitely. We've got kind of this underlying saying in the organization is Let's control what we can control and be able to identify that, challenge ourselves. But so when it all happened, and having a culture where, and I learned this from someone else, we kind of have a walk-around management style, leadership style. So it's completely common that you just plop down in someone's office to find out how is the soccer match, along the line you were talking about, retaining employees. If you've got a 2:00 soccer game and I find out you're in the office and not at it, that's a problem. You better be at the soccer game. So we took a step back and said, okay, it's a great opportunity to develop new skills, teams, and we just worked our tail off using that vehicle both internally with our people and externally with customers and suppliers, that on a Friday, usually people are catching up. Call someone on Teams without a meeting notice. Just call a customer, supplier. How you doing today? We had one of our folks, he said, hey, let's have a Thursday happy hour on Teams. Hey, hell of an idea, man. No one has to drive, So 4:00, get your beverage of choice, sit at your terminal, you popcorn or something, sit there, and for a half hour, a variety of conversations are going on. So the approach we took was, how can we take this and help us all get better? And take advantage of it and turn it into some kind of blessing that'll help us then have a strength in an area we didn't have before to take on other challenges, because they'll be there.
Jeff, anything on that?
I'm thinking of the role of technology and in a world where you have to maintain your distance physically and socially, how collaboration tools have really accelerated progress. That's something that before it was easy enough to walk around and you just sit down and you had to develop a different talent, different skill sets. But I think it's made, has given everyone the opportunity to be more efficient and more effective and just really know kind of what's happening and get more people involved in the process, because everything's transparent, it's in the cloud, and everyone can see what's going on, and there's less, did I send you that email or I ran into you and you know it now, versus now it's more of a open, transparent communication system. So I think that's been a big benefit and a big outcome.
Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell for notifications, and also make sure to connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. For all of your business news, visit businessjournaldaily.com. For all of your arts and entertainment news, go to afterhoursyoungstown.com.